naked, dragging themselves through the Negro streets at dawn, looking for an angry fix.
Angel-headed hipsters burning for the ancient heavenly connection to the starry dynamo in the machinery of the night.
Who poverty and tatters and hollow-eyed and hide sat up smoking in the supernatural darkness of cold water flats, floating across the tops of cities, contemplating jazz.
Who bared their brains to heaven under the L and saw Mohammedan angels staggering on tenement roofs illuminated.
Who passed through universities with radiant, cool eyes, hallucinating Arkansas and Blake-like tragedy along the scholars of war. Who were expelled from the academies for crazy and publishing obscene odes on the windows of the skull, who cowered in unshaven rooms in underwear, burning their money in wastebaskets and listening to the terror through the walls, who got busted in their pubic beards, returning to Laredo with a belt of marijuana for New York.
Who ate fire in paint hotels.
Or drank turpentine in Paradise Alley, death.
Or purgatoried their torsos.
Night after night.
With dreams.
With drugs.
With waking nightmares.
Alcohol and cock and endless balls.
Incomparable blind streets of shuddering cloud and lightning in the mind, leaping toward poles of Canada and Patterson, illuminating all the motionless world of time between peyote solidities of halls, backyard green trees, cemetery dawns, wine drunkenness over rooftops, storefront burrows of tea-head joyride, neon blinking traffic lights, sun and moon and tree vibrations in the roaring winter dusks of Brooklyn, ash can rantings, and kind king light of mind.
Who chained themselves to subways for the endless ride from Battery to Holy Bronx on Benzedrine until the noise of wheels and children brought them down, shuddering mouth-racked and battered bleak of brain, all drained of brilliance in the drear light of zoo, who sank all night in submarine light of Bickfords, floated out and sat through the stale beer afternoon at desolate Fugazis, listening to the crack of doom on the hydrogen jukebox.
Who talked continuously for 70 hours.
From park to pad,
to bar, to Bellevue,
to museum,
to the Brooklyn Bridge, a lost battalion of platonic conversationalists, jumping down stoops, off fire escapes, off windowsills, off the Empire State, out of the moon, yakety-yakking, screaming, vomiting, whispering facts and anecdotes, and eyeball kicks, and shocks of hospitals and jails and wars.
Whole intellects disgorged in total recall for 7 days and nights with brilliant eyes, meet for the synagogue, cast on the pavement, who vanished into nowhere, Zen, New Jersey, leaving a trail of ambiguous picture postcards of Atlantic City Hall, suffering Eastern sweats and Tangerian bone grinding and migraines of China under junk withdrawal in Newark's bleak furnished room.
Who wandered around and around at midnight in the railroad yard, wondering where to go, and went, leaving no broken hearts, who lit cigarettes in boxcars, racketing through snow toward lonesome farms in grandfather nights.
Who studied Plotinus, Poe, St. John of the Cross, telepathy, and Bob Kabbalah, because the cosmos instinctively vibrated at their feet in Kansas, who loaned it through the streets of Idaho, seeking visionary Indian angels who were visionary Indian angels.
Who thought they were only mad when Baltimore gleamed in supernatural ecstasy. Who jumped in limousines with the Chinamen of Oklahoma on impulse. Winter, midnight, streetlights, small town rain. who lounged hungry and lonesome through Houston,
seeking jazz
or sex,
or soup,
and followed the brilliant Spaniard to converse about America and eternity, a hopeless task, so took to Africa, who disappeared in the volcanoes of Mexico, leaving behind nothing but the shadow of dungarees and the ash and lava of poetry scattered in fireplace Chicago,
who reappeared on the West Coast investigating the FBI in beards and shorts and big pacifist eyes,
sexy in their dark skin,
passing out incomprehensible leaflets, who burned cigarette holes in their arms, protesting the narcotic haze of capitalism,
who distributed super communist pamphlets in Union Square, weeping and undressing while the sirens of Los Alamos wailed them down.
And wailed down Wall, and the Staten Island Ferry also wailed.
Who broke down crying in white gymnasiums, naked and trembling before the machinery of other skeletons.
Who bit detectives in the neck
and shrieked with delight in police cars.
For committing no crime but their own wild cooking, pederasty, and intoxication.
Who howled on their knees in subways and were dragged off the roof, waving genitals and manuscripts.
Who let themselves be fucked in the ass by saintly motorcyclists and screamed with joy.
Who blew and were blown by those human seraphim, the sailors. Caresses of Atlantic and Caribbean love, who bawled in the morning, in the evenings, in rose gardens, in the grass of public parks and cemeteries, scattering their semen freely to whomever, come whatever may.
Who hiccuped endlessly trying to giggle, but wound up with a sob behind a partition in a Turkish bath, when the blonde and naked angel came to pierce them with a sword, who lost their loved boys to the three old shrews of fate, the one-eyed shrew of the heterosexual dollar,
the one-eyed shrew that winks out of the womb,
and the one-eyed shrew that does nothing but sit on her ass and snip the intellectual golden threads of the craftsman's loom,
who walked all night with their shoes full of blood on the snowbank docks, waiting for a door in the East River to open to a room full of steam heat and opium, who plunged themselves under meat trucks looking for an egg, who threw their watches off the roof to cast their ballot for eternity outside of time, and alarm clocks fell on their heads every day for the next decade.
Who cut their wrists 3 times, successively, unsuccessfully, gave up and were forced to open antique stores where they thought they were growing old and cried.
Who jumped off the Brooklyn Bridge, this actually happened, and walked away, unknown and forgotten, into the ghostly haze of Chinatown soup alleyways and fire trucks. Not even one free beer.
Who drove cross country 72 hours to find out if I had a vision,
or you had a vision,
or he had a vision,
to find out eternity.
Who journeyed to Denver,
who died in Denver,
who came back to Denver,
and waited in vain,
who watched over Denver,
and brooded and loaned in Denver,
and finally went away
to find out the time.
And now Denver is lonesome for our heroes who demanded saint sanity trials, accusing the radio of hypnotism, and were left with their insanity in their hands and a hung jury.
Who threw potato salad at CCNY lecturers on Dadaism, and subsequently presented themselves on the granite steps of the madhouse with shaven heads and harlequin speech of suicide, demanding instantaneous lobotomy, who were given instead The concrete void of insulin, metrosol, electricity, hydrotherapy, psychotherapy, occupational therapy, ping pong, and amnesia.
Who in humorless protest overturned only one symbolic ping pong table, resting briefly in catatonia, returning years later truly bald, except for a wig of blood and tears and fingers, to the visible madman doom of the wards of the mad towns of the East, pilgrim states rocklands and greystone fetid halls, bickering with the echoes of the soul, nothing but a hopeful little bit of hallucination.
Ah, Carl, while you are not safe, I am not safe, and now you're really in the total animal soup of time.
And who therefore ran through the icy streets obsessed with a sudden flash of the alchemy of the use of the ellipsis catalog, of variable measure and the vibrating plane.
The madman bum, an angel, beat in time,
Unknown,
yet putting down what might be left to say in time come after death.
and rose reincarnate in the ghostly clothes of jazz.
In the gold horn shadow of the band, and blew the suffering of America's naked mind.
For love of an Eli, Eli, Lama, Lama, Sabachthani saxophone cry.
It shivered the cities down to the last radio with the absolute heart of the poem of life.
Butchered out of their own bodies.
Good to eat 1,000 years.
Holy!
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 Holy! Holy! The world is holy.
The soul is holy!
The skin is holy.
The nose is holy!
The tongue and cock and asshole holy.
Everything is holy!
Everybody's holy.
Everywhere is holy!
Every day is in eternity.
Every man is an angel!
The bum's as holy as the seraphim.
Holy hunky! Oh, the madman is holy as you, my soul, are holy!
The typewriter is holy.
The poem is holy!
The voice is holy.
The hearers are holy!
The ecstasy is holy.
Holy Peter!
Holy Allen.
Holy Solomon!
Holy Lucian.
Holy Kerouac!
Holy Hunky.
Holy Burroughs!
Holy Cassidy.
Holy the unknown buggered and suffering beggar!
Holy the hideous human angel.
Holy my mother in the insane asylum!
Holy the cocks of the grandfathers of Kansas.
Holy the groaning saxophone!
Holy the pop apocalypse.
Holy the jazz bands, marijuana hipsters, peace, chuck, and peyote!
Holy the solitudes of skyscrapers and pavements.
Holy the cafeterias filled with millions!
Holy the mysterious rivers of tears under the streets.
Holy the lone juggernaut!
Holy the vast glam of the middle class.
Holy the crazy shepherds of rebellion!
Who digs Los Angeles?